This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize the headlines that you may have missed this morning. And we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 10th of February 2022, and I am DK.
I am Serbia.
And I am your host, CS. In the headlines, in case you missed them. Daily Nation, it's harvest season. In the Standard, Uhuru's toughest 180 days. In the Star, how IEBC will spend 41 billion poll budget. And in the People Daily, quit or not, RUTO's big dilemma. DK, why don't you take us away?
You know, guys, this month of February, is the Black History Month. It is the month in which blacks all over the world remember their historical struggles and achievements. And the culmination of the 2022 Black History Month was marked by the 2022 AFCON finals between Egypt and Senegal this past Sunday. And today I want to premise my thoughts on the AFCON finals between Egypt and Senegal. Or in other words, the final between Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. This Sunday, the two Liverpool stars attracted global limelight on an African stage. On the 7th minute of the match, Senegal was awarded a penalty. And this is where things get political. Senegal selected Sadio Mane to take the penalty. But before Mane took the shot, Mo Salah, his Liverpool teammate, went to his Egyptian goalkeeper and gave him the Sadio Mane penalty strategy. This angered Sadio Mane. Because the Egyptian goalkeeper trusted Mo Salah, his captain, he dived to the right and saved the shot. The goalkeeper upset Sadio Mane's penalty strategy by diving to the right. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the 2022 presidential election for you. And I want to address this to Raila Odinga or Babaman. Because you love football, here is the AFCON lesson for you, dear Babaman. In 2022, you are the goalkeeper. Uhuru is Mo Salah in that penalty. And Ruto is Sadio Mane. Uhuru has played with William Ruto for over 20 years, since 2002. He played with Ruto together in 2002, created ODM together with you, Babaman, in 2005. Uhuru and Ruto were in ICC together in 2013, and they have been playing together since 2013 to 2022. What Uhuru is telling you today is that he knows the William Ruto election shooting strategy. If Uhuru tells you that Ruto will shoot using the ethnic card, dear Babaman, believe him. If Uhuru tells you that Ruto is a ghost worker, dear Babaman, follow him. And if Uhuru tells you that Ruto has short temper, dear Babaman, seek to irritate William Ruto. In the meantime, Ruto will keep getting angry and telling you to bring it on. Dear Babaman, for the 4 times you have been running after the presidency, you have been diving blindly. In the 2022 presidential shootout, Uhuru is not the advantage. He is the added advantage. In August, the dive will be yours, Babaman, to take. But with the Uhuru added advantage, your 5th presidential dive will be successful like the Egyptian goalkeeper was successful. That is how you will save country from William Ruto and become the 5th Kenyan president.
Baba the Fifth.
Baba the 5th.
This past Tuesday,
Yes.
Ruto's camp promised us a mass exodus. They say the exodus will drop the political stratosphere. However, all we heard was the loud sound of deflating air. Most of his UDA noisemakers who have been threatening to leave went mum and backed down in the heat of the moment. These are the very same people calling Jubilee a dead party.
Yeah.
And yet, they have refused to leave the dead party. And that is why I say that contradictions are a central ethos of the UDA party. Their indecisiveness is actually an indication that they are eyeing the Jubilee NDC wave that is coming on the 25th and 26th of February. They know that the tsunami wave will sweep everyone when it launches. And this is what has gotten them panic-stricken. Therefore, they are forced to bid their time lest they make a grave miscalculation and are locked out in the political cold. For UDA right now, it's all about opportunistic timing. And another thing, UDA calling Jubilee a dead party is merely a matter of perspective. The Jubilee party is very much alive and it has been working on the legacy projects that we now see transforming the country.
Sure.
There is a quote by James Cook that says, "The man who wants to lead the orchestra must turn his back to the crowd." Our president has made those words his work ethic. To effectively lead the nation, Uhuru Kenyatta had to turn his back on politics to concentrate on infrastructure and the development of the country.
The symphony is beautiful.
Those that thought the party was dead chose to focus on Jubilee's silence on political matters.
Yeah.
They must now reckon with Jubilee's dominance, knowing that the development agenda has been realized and the party has turned back to face the crowd and do politics. And one last thing on Jubilee being a dead party. UDA is not the first and most probably won't be the last of the naysayers. Let's look at history. In 1975, the then Deputy Speaker in Parliament, Jean-Marie Serone, listened as Martin Shikuku made the assertion that KANU was a dead party. Members of the House, like Keheka Kimani, rose up heatedly and demanded that Shikuku substantiate his remarks. Serone, however, interjected with disdain and dismissed Shikuku with the famous statement, "Why substantiate the obvious?" To him, KANU needed no defense. And as we all know, KANU ruled for another 27 years after that. What is my point here? UDA is talking to itself. Jubilee does not need to defend its position.
Yeah.
The Jubilee relaunch will demonstrate what a real earthquake looks like. Never mind those pseudo-earthquakes from Ruto and his mandarins that have failed to live up to the expectations. Ruto and his premature campaigns have caused people to be on the lookout for something new. For 4 years, they have been wearing UDA caps and painting faces yellow.
Yep.
People are now tired. But fear not, people, the Lazarus moment is coming. The volcano has only been dormant. It will be awakening soon, and the warning rumbles have already begun.
When you talk about Jean-Marie Serone, I thought we went all the way to Congo. But my point is...
Jean-Pierre Bemba.
Jean-Pierre Bemba.
Yeah.
But my point is, even the Lazarus moment, you know, Lazarus was not dead. Lazarus was only having a long nap.
Yeah.
Then Jesus inspired his waking up. So Jubilee is alive. It's only been taking a nap because, as the president said, they've been working.
It's working.
Yes.
Well, I'll need to read my Bible again.
No, there's no Jean-Marie Serone in the Bible.
Today, we are also inspired by the Daily Nation's headline.
Yeah.
It's harvest season.
Truly it is.
This tallies with what the president has been saying. There was a season for working and putting politics at bay. But now, we can do politics.
Can do politics.
It is a biblical truth. There is a season for everything under the sun. And now we are entering the season when it will be exposed what exactly people have been sowing. But the yield of the harvest is determined in large part by the choices that were made in the planting season,
True.
including the farming methods that were adopted. The harvest will also expose the prudence of the choices the farmer made. In the same way, when going to war, the strategy that you adopt can determine whether you win or lose the war. In fact, it is considered that military strategy is a centerpiece of military science. And according to military science, errors in strategy can cost you the war. What this season of harvest, that we are going into will expose is the strategic errors that William Ruto and Tanga Tanga made, which will cost them victory.
2022, yes.
Allow us to illustrate with an example from history.
Okay.
In the early hours of 7th December 1941, the Japanese launched a preemptive strike against the American naval base at Pearl Harbor. At this point in time, the Americans had still adopted a policy of isolationism and had not joined the Second World War. The reason the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor was because they intended the attack to be a preventative action, hoping to stop the American Pacific Fleet from halting Japanese expansion into Southeast Asia. Initially, the Pearl Harbor attack, which coincided with other strikes on American naval bases, was a success for the Japanese. It seemed so. 2,400 American personnel were killed, 4 battleships were sunk, and many more suffered severe damage. Despite these gains, however, this preemptive strike by Japan would soon be exposed as a strategic error, because ultimately what the strike achieved is that it drove America to join the Allied powers and enter the Second World War. And because the Japanese failed to deliver a decisive blow, American popular opinion turned from isolationism towards involvement in the war. Over the coming years, America not only helped turn the tide of the conflict in Europe and helped the Allied powers win victory, but they also ended the Japanese empire in the Pacific. UDA, listen very closely. Ruto and Tanga Tanga made a similar strategic error. Before the time for politics came, and refusing to heed the counsel of the president to first focus on work, Ruto and Tanga Tanga launched a preemptive strike, or we can also say a premature strike. And he launched it on the Gema Nation and on the shepherd of the Gema Nation, thinking that if he strikes the shepherd, the sheep will scatter. But Ruto's strike was not decisive. And as it was written by Niccolo Machiavelli, if you are to do your enemy an injury, it must be so severe that the enemy's retaliation need not be feared. And similar to what happened when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, which motivated the Americans to join the Allied powers, Ruto's preemptive strike has resulted in President Uhuru and the Gema leadership to join with allies in the Azimio movement. Ruto's strategic error is already being exposed for what it is. And this is how we know that in this season of harvest, he will not claim victory. He will lose, and it will be decisive.
Oh my goodness. I like the part where you say that the Japanese empire was finished. And I think even this election, the 2022 election, will finish the Ruto Karen empire completely, including Oscar Sudi.
Now, recap of the headlines one more time. Daily Nation, it's harvest season. The Standard, Uhuru's toughest 180 days. And the Star, how IEBC will spend 41 billion poll budget. And in the People Daily, quit or not, Ruto's big dilemma. Now, we have a 3-part criteria with which you used to judge the headlines. Are they topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, thoughtful or just plain lazy? That's Standard. Uhuru's toughest 180 days. Will this hear what?
Toughest to who? This is subjective, eh? Maybe he has everything all figured out.
I think we just toss that one right off the bat.
Toss it.
Yeah. What do we think about the rest? I give it to Daily Nation. It's
I give it the Daily Nation.
So
have a season.
Tossed the Star and the People Daily. Now, onto the political pieces we call cartoons in this country. We have a 3-part criteria to break down the cartoons for you. Are they humorous or dry, satirical or pessimistic, effective or just plain lazy? Sabia, what do we have in the Daily Nation? And it looks similar to what we have in the Star.
So we have a caricature of Uhuru holding on to his cabinet as a political magnet is breaking it apart by pulling the nails, and also the drawers are coming out. However, I think the relevance is Uhuru is finishing strong. He has been left with just a few critical CSs, even if some have left. And I think it's also very noble and truly patriotic that several CSs have shelved their political ambitions to put their weight behind completing the president's legacy.
It's a brilliant cartoon. I like it because, you know, one of the people you have to look at, one is Moses Kuria and Munya. Remember, before the handshake, Munya had gone to ODM. Then Uhuru called him back and he made him CS. But the decision by Munya to remain in Uhuru's cabinet as the other drawers are flying over, it means that there's something that Munya knows and Uhuru knows that the rest of country doesn't know. And that is why Uhuru is finishing strong, because he's been left with his most important drawers in that cabinet.
Yeah.
Yes. What do we have in the Standard, DK?
The Standard, it's quite simplistic. I think this, by our criteria, this thing is dry, it's not satirical, it is just playing lazy. I mean, politics, you expect it to be the mudding season. These ones will draw these ones will draw that. And the Standard today just decided to be lazy.
Now, in the People Daily, I'll take that one. It's a caricature of presumably two leaders standing on one side of a ledge, and there's a divide, a chasm in between them, and it's lit up by a very crazy fire. And this fire represents party nominations, and this is what we have been saying. These are UDA nominations, just to be clear. They're going to be messy, and a lot of people who are going to leave Jubilee very soon are not guaranteed those UDA tickets. And like we said last week, this is going to lead to a lot of independent candidates.
Yes.
And UDA is going to lose a huge following because of the nominations. Well, on a day when we've had a winning headline from the Daily Nation, and I think a winning cartoon, shall we give it to People Daily?
Yes.
No, I'm pro Daily Nation.
You want to give it to
Daily Nation because I see the concept with the Daily Nation, and it's saying that Uhuru is actually finishing strong. This politics that is coming still don't do nothing to Uhuru.
So you want to give it to the Nation?
Let's give it to the Daily Nation.
Well, Sabia, People Daily.
Yes, I'm with People Daily.
I think it's 2-on-1.
Yeah.
So we give it to the People Daily.
What a democracy.
Well, the minority have had their say.
Yeah.
Now, please remember to catch us on Pang Free to Air, GoTV, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow our social media handles. This has been your Fifth Estate Winning Headlines. Do join us tomorrow. Have a blessed evening.